Welcome back to another quarterly portfolio update. If you are stopping by for the first time, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In today's video, I will share with you how much I invested during the third quarter of 2022, the number of shares that I bought, and the value of my portfolio at the end of the quarter, which was September the 30th, 2022. But as always, before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing does not constitute financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. With that being said, I will dive right into my quarterly portfolio update. I will start with a quick recap of my Q2 portfolio to show you the value of the portfolio and the number of shares that I had before the beginning of the third quarter. At the end of the second quarter, which was June the 30th, the total equity of my portfolio was $25,504.83. $25,430.04 was the market value of my investments, and $74.79 was a cash amount. My portfolio was down $2,904.17. This was minus 10.25%. You can see here my holdings and the number of shares that I had at the end of the second quarter. I still have the same ETFs, 2 Vanguard ETFs and 2 BlackRock ETFs. The first Vanguard ETF is VCN. This is an ETF that tracks the Canadian market, and I had 50 shares of VCN. This was 7.47% of the market value of my portfolio. The second Vanguard ETF is VFV. This is an S&P 500 index ETF, and I had 154 shares of VFV. This was 52.25% of the market value of my portfolio. The first BlackRock ETF is XEQT. This is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, other developed market equities, and emerging market equities. And I had 230 shares of XEQT. This was 20.53% of the market value of my portfolio. The second BlackRock ETF is XUU. This is a US total stock market ETF, and I had 136 shares of XUU. This was 19.45% of the market value of my portfolio. I will now show you how much I invested during the third quarter of 2022 and the number of shares that I bought. I bought 6 shares of VCN. The cost per share was $38.57. The total cost was $231.42, and this represents 5% of the total amount that I invested during the third quarter. I bought 26 shares of VFV. The cost per share was $92.80. The total cost was $2,412.73, and this represents 53% of the amount that I invested. I bought 52 shares of XEQT. The cost per share was $23.35. The total cost $1,214.31, and this represents 27% of the amount that I invested. I bought 18 shares of XUU. The cost per share was $39.08. The total cost $703.43, and this represents 15% of the total amount that I invested. In total, I bought 102 shares, all of the ETF combined, and the total amount that I invested was $4,561.89. This is $3,292.75 less than the amount that I invested in Q2. As you can see here, in Q2, I invested $7,854.64, and in Q3, $4,561.89. The difference is minus $3,292.75. I will now show you the value of my portfolio at the end of the third quarter, which was September the 30th, and the number of shares that I had. The total equity of my portfolio as of September the 30th was $29,974.07. $29,972.88 was the market value of my investments, and $1.19 was a cash amount. My portfolio was down $2,923.22. This was minus 8.89%. You can see here my holdings and the number of shares that I had as of September the 30th. I had 56 shares of VCN. This was 6.95% of the market value of my portfolio. 180 shares of VFV. This was 52.80% of the market value of my portfolio. 282 shares of XEQT. This was 21.21% of the market value of my portfolio. and 154 shares of XUU. This was 19.04% of the market value of my portfolio. The stock market has been very volatile this year. Inflation is still high and central banks keep raising interest rates. Some analysts are talking about a recession coming as soon as the first quarter of 2023. Anyway, all these things are out of my control, and as an investor, all I can do is to stay the course and keep investing, and we'll see how things will turn out in the coming months or years. All right, I will now show you how much dividend I received for the quarter. I will start with VCN. I had 56 shares of VCN on the record date. As you may know, in order for you to receive an upcoming dividend payment, you have to hold the shares on the record date. The dividend amount per share was 32 cents. The dividend amount that I received was $17.96. And this represents 16% of the total amount of dividend that I received for the third quarter. I had 180 shares of VFV on the record date. The dividend amount per share was also 32 cents. This is the same as VCN. The dividend amount that I received was $57.46. And this was 52% of the total amount of dividend that I received. I had 267 shares of XEQT on the record date. The dividend amount per share was 7 cents. The dividend amount that I received was $19.76, and this was 18% of the total amount of dividend that I received. I had 154 shares of XUU on the record date. The dividend amount per share was 10 cents. The dividend amount that I received was $15.86, and this represents 14% of the total amount of dividend that I received for the quarter. The total amount of dividend that I received for the third quarter was $111.04. This is $1.58 less than the amount that I received in Q2. It's mostly due to the fact that XEQT paid significantly less dividend in Q3. In Q2, XEQT paid 19 cents per share, and in Q3, only 7 cents per share. The difference is 12 cents. Anyway, the goal of these ETFs is not a high dividend yield. Their objective is rather to seek to provide long-term capital growth. But I welcome any dividend payment that I can reinvest right away and have the money work for me. If you live in Canada and you're interested in high dividend yield ETFs, you may need to check out the VDY, which is a Vanguard ETF, or XDIV, which is a BlackRock ETF. All right, this brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.